let's pivot over to the NFC because our game on Thursday night, Sam Darnold. I mean, that might have been his moment, right? And it was one of those games. He throws 2 interceptions in the second half. And credit to Shula. The first one, it looked like man coverage. Everybody was pressed. Everybody had their eyes on the receivers, and at the snap of the ball, they pop back into cover 2, and that nickel defender steps in front of that outside slant. Bam! He was fooled post snap, threw the interception. And the second one, they totally set it up. The protection, it was empty. It was a 5-man protection scheme. He had a free runner, Jared Verse, to his left because that's the way that it was created. But they had pop outs. Shula had Kobe Turner from the right A gap popping out, which is where Sam, he hadn't seen that before, thought the ball was going to be able to go. You know, in hindsight, I think he probably wants to throw the corner so he doesn't have to mess with any of those pop outs or anything. But you make a guy react down there to something that he's not sure what's happening, throws another interception, and we're sitting there in the green room saying, oh, no. Because, we like to talk about and evaluate these quarterbacks and all that. Sam is a friend. I want to see Sam do well, and he's done great, but he has that narrative around him the last few years. You know, his failures against Detroit late last year in the Rams playoff game and then the Rams first game this year. But how about that? It's so funny saying, how about that defense? They give up 500 and whatever yards, but they step up. There was like 4 series in that second half where they stepped up. Rashid Shaheed stepped up. The entire team stepped up to give Sam moment after moment to have that big time, big game moment. And finally, he was able to do it in overtime on that last drive.
Yeah, pretty special. I mean, talking about a guy who needed it. I mean, we were talking about that in the green room. We're like, man, here it is. Like, you've got this opportunity in this game. Your team's kept it close. Like, he needed to jump on that moment. And maybe he was just setting it up because, you know, you look at the Kobe Turner interception. Right after that, the Rams go 3 and out. The defense responds. Punt return for a touchdown. It flipped the whole game. So maybe this might have been his way. He inspired. It's like Josh Allen getting hit. He was inspiring his team to get going a little bit, you know, and that's what it was.
Maybe since Rashid Shaheed wasn't getting the ball on offense, he thought, gosh, let's get him involved in the return game. He did it against Atlanta a couple weeks ago. Let's do it again. That's smart. Yeah, you're right.
Think of that. That's next level thinking. Right, yeah, that's it, baby. So, listen, I thought it was cool, too. You think of like the moments. Like, I think probably the Rashid return, then he has the reverse. They give him I thought that was really cool. You think about that. Give Kubiak some credit. Like, this guy goes and has this huge moment. You say, man, while he's riding high and he's feeling good, let's get him the ball back again. Like, whatever we got to do to get him the ball. Calls a reverse to him. He goes and makes another play that I would add was just as big as the punt return because it was like the first chance you get the ball back. You've made it a 1-score game. How do you respond? And boom, massive play that leads to the big play action boot touchdown that they end up hitting with the tight end.
Yeah, and how about at that point it was Seattle fans were leaving the stadium. Not a ton, but there were plenty that were trickling out. And then just how that erupted when he had that punt return and that. So it was funny because in the first half, it was almost the fans were feeling it out a little bit. And then from that moment on, that atmosphere was absolutely electric. The biggest play in that game and potentially the best throw of Sam Darnold's career, that corner route to Cooper Kupp, where he's getting hit in the teeth essentially when he's releasing the ball, throws it perfectly over the cover 2 corner out there. Cooper, taps his feet in.
Swag, baby. I mean, that was Cooper is the legend at that, man. He's so good at it. As I said it, right when he did it, y'all all looked at me, obviously, as the Rams guy in there, rooting for the Rams. And I was like, well, unfortunately, I've seen this guy do this too many times in my favor. So I'm used to seeing Coop do that, man. He is unbelievable at sideline catches like that. Really freaking special. That was definitely the play. And then, obviously, I think that there'll be continued conversations around the whole 2-point fiasco. That was a wild thing. I think Sean McVay said it best, like just something he's never seen before, how long it took, 90-something seconds after the play. I mean, I would say as a Rams, fan, Seattle fan, I don't care who you are, I don't think we want to see games decided like that. I think that's a pretty weird rule. Like if you think of like a fourth down, you can't advance a fumble, but a 2-point you can. Like both are goal to go situations. So like, what's the difference in the two things? It's a pretty wild situation. Not to mention we were there, like, when the whistle was blown and the play's dead, like all those things. And the guy just walks out. He just walked over. Charbonnet just walked over to like hand it to the ref. And it's like, oh, we're going to give a guy points for that. I mean, an insane scenario. that happens in that game.
Pass. But how crazy is it that we've seen a lot of football? We've played a lot of football. We've watched a million games. And you just keep having situations come up that you've never seen before.
It blows my mind. It really does.
The end of the Lions game, Pittsburgh game was
what is happening?
Everybody's at in I got a ton of people at my house, and we hear the ref's explanation, and then they're asking me, and I'm trying to make sense of what the hell the ref just said. Like, wait, who won? Was it the?
Is that right? Like, I don't know.
Wait, has this ever happened to you? I've never seen it before, but essentially, the game, they always say it like can't end, or the half can't end on a defensive penalty.
Right.
Well, it can end on an offensive penalty.
Yep.
And we just found that out. But how they didn't say his progress was stopped, and then for it to get pitched to Jared Goff and for him to make the most athletic play he's ever made.
That is without question Jared's most athletic movement ever. I mean,
it's unbelievable.
You know how happy he was with himself right there? I mean, he had to have been ecstatic. That was every one of his teammates would tell you that is the most athletic thing we've ever seen him do in his life. Unreal that game ends that way. Absolutely crazy ending. But Fitz, you mentioned Sam Darnold having his moment. I want to go to a guy who also had a moment. Because I got to ask you, I was watching that throw over and over again this morning when it was on TV when I was working out. Caleb Williams, like that throw in OT, like incredible. Speaking of having a moment, I was sitting there going, I need to ask Fitz, does he throw one like this? Like this is, I mean, that was, when you go back and watch it, that was a freaking hell of a football that he threw. Like the conditions, the wind, like everything, wind, you name it.
That spiral cut through the wind.
Spiral
on that
was dirty.
The moment Ben Johnson calling that play. I actually did have one play in overtime. Certainly didn't mean as much as that one. And I'm only bringing it up because I threw it to Stevie Johnson. Very similar. Roll to the right. He beats Ike Taylor, goes to the left, and he dropped the ball in the end zone. And that was the start of Bills Mafia from that day. When Schefter went after Stevie online and whatever. But anyway, that's for another day. That throw was so incredible, but I loved the play call from Ben Johnson to trust him to make that throw. The catch, I don't think we're talking about the catch enough by DJ Moore.
The coverage was insane.
He was blanketed, and it was like, how many times do you see a guy make that catch and then not survive hitting the ground? Somehow he survived the ground. He turned over. I saw on X, somebody put that play to the Titanic music, and it is it is incredible. But I've got huge Bears fans 2 houses down from me, so past Sean's house and the next one, and they were going wild, as I'm sure all Bears fans were. But you talked about it, the moment, Caleb Williams, the belief of those guys, and it wasn't a perfect game for Chicago, but it just feels like it's a team that's really starting to believe in themselves, and
they are.
I mean,
Fitz, when he scrambles, dude. Yeah, the onside kick was crazy. But like, dude, watching Caleb, it's like this dude is. You just forget how athletic and fast he is. There's a couple of these scrambles where I'm like, man, this dude, his game. If he continues to develop a pocket game and be able to play in there, man, he is going to be crazy special. Because some of the explosiveness he has, just running it and then sometimes getting out in the open and throwing from that running position. I mean, he is special. And you think of this too, Fitz, of that call. What I thought was cool about that 13 personnel, that every single time they'd been in 13 personnel in this game, they'd run the football. They had not thrown it one time. So it's like go back to quarterback played great. Caleb made the play. Back to Ben Johnson, the play caller, setting things up. We always talk about this, like the great ones. They can set things up in the moment. Here I am in plus territory. We got an opportunity where we know the Packers are saying, don't let us get another yard so that we can't kick. We'd already made a couple long field goals. You know they're going to be playing up tight, trying not to let you. So getting 13 personnel, make it look like run. All we've done is run it. And then here it is. Take our freaking shot. And you pull it off. I mean, insane. Because, I mean, you give credit to Caleb, give credit, obviously, for the catch, but also Ben Johnson, the setup, man, stacking plays so they all look the same and end up different.
And having a quarterback that has a bazooka on his arm so he can cut through that wind. I mean, I don't know. I think it was Cairo Santos' first field goal of that game. He put it outside the uprights, and it almost missed on the other side of the uprights.
Yes.
The wind was blowing, so to be able to cut through the wind like that on a throw was awesome too. So let's just talk path to the 1 seed in the NFC real fast. Got my little post-it note here. So Seattle, simple. They win out. They're the 1 seed. San Fran, simple. They win out. They're the 1 seed. We kind of went over those. But the Rams actually have the second best probability to win the 1 seed. Essentially, let's see, they need Seattle. They need to win out, obviously. They need Seattle to lose to the Panthers. They need Seattle to beat San Fran. And they need the Bears to lose to San Fran. So their probability is a little higher because all these teams are kind of playing each other that are involved in this thing. But there's certainly a path there. And then the Bears need to win out. And they need Seattle, San Fran, and LA all to lose the game. And then I think they become the 1 seed, which is absolutely crazy and would be awesome. I guess the Bears, if they beat San Francisco, they could also lose to the Lions, and then San Francisco can beat Seattle. But essentially, like, all those teams need to lose for the Rams to get it or for the Bears to get it. But pretty cool, and it's going to be a great ending to a great season for the NFC. Can't wait to see what happens in the playoffs there with those guys. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I agree.
I was going to ask you one thing real quick because I never got this opportunity, but we just start talking about resting players, and there's a little bit of debate in Philly right now of like, all right, they're probably the 3 seed. Are they going to be the 3 seed? So somebody like Lane Johnson, he hasn't played in quite a few weeks with the foot. How important is that for you as a tackle to get back in there and get a game or two under your belt before going into the playoffs versus just going in 100% healthy?
100% healthy. I mean, Lane Johnson, he's played so many snaps of football, it's irrelevant for him to get on a football field. All he needs is, if you're telling me that he gets to have a full week of practice, he's good to go. Like, he's ready to ride. Like, for me, I played in 2013. I think it's 13, right? 13 or 14. I played our playoff game, had surgery, missed all the training camp. I think week 2 of the season, that week was the first time I put a pad on, and I practiced in one practice and played on Monday Night Football in that game. I didn't even have a chance because of my knee injury. I kind of had a setback, so I missed all the camp, wasn't able to practice at all, and practiced that week, played. And it didn't really feel different other than like the first couple snaps, just getting your feet under you. But
okay, so he'll be fine.
Lane's fine. I would say that and think about this too, Jalen Carter, like he's coming back too. Now, I think for them though, it's a little different in the sense of, what do they feel like they can still accomplish and get done? Especially a big game against Buffalo if they want to go show themselves, and try to fight for that seeding. Because I do think a little bit of who you got in that 6 and 7 can matter. I mean, let's think of some of these teams that we say are fighting for the division in the NFC. We're talking Niners, Rams, Seahawks. I think those are the 3 teams most of these teams in this playoffs don't want to start their playoffs with. So I think if you can fight a little bit to fight where your seed is, to not have to have one of those teams as the 7 or 6, I think that does mean something. So I think it'll be interesting to see what the Eagles do. I think I read something this morning that they expect that Lane and Jalen could be back for the Buffalo game. So it'll be interesting. They play in this one, and then would you rest the last week? I think for me, those guys being ultimately healthy instead of playing another extra week would be the biggest thing.